What's going on, YouTube? This is Necrostevo, and we have the start of something new here. Now, my friend Mike Hobbs and I on Twitter, be sure to go check him out if you'd like to battle him. He's on Twitter. Awesome guy, very inventive when it comes to Pokemon. He had a fantastic idea, so you're going to see this for the next few casual uploads that I have. But generation battles, going back to Pokemon exclusive list in each generation. So for example, in this battle video, I chose gold version, the original gold version, not Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and he chose silver. And you can only, your team has to be composed of only Pokemon in that region. That means the Pokedex that you get before you get the National Pokedex. And you have to have at least 3 version exclusive Pokemon on your team. So where I can, in those battle videos, I really try to make my whole team up a version exclusive Pokemon. For gold, my version exclusives were Primeape, Arcanine, Ariados, Ursaring, Gligar, and Mantine. So all those are version exclusives. I was very, very happy to grab all those together. For this battle in particular, I really wanted Sticky Web with Guts Ursaring. In my head, that made a lot of sense. It would also allow me to run Primeape without a Scarf necessarily. And Mantine and Gligar is actually a really weird effective core. Mantine, being a flying water type, is quad weak to electricity and also weak to rock. Gligar doesn't care about rock type attacks and is immune to electricity. Gligar doesn't like taking water and ice attacks, which Mantine doesn't care about taking. So that's really interesting. That's I don't like that this core has essentially, it doesn't really like entry hazards at all. That's annoying. Plus Mantine doesn't have reliable recovery. But that's okay. I did see Ninetales and Jumpluff and Houndoom on his preview screen, just because I was limited to the exclusives. Since I didn't want to use anything that wasn't exclusive for this battle, I did not have any Megas for my team, so I was expecting Mega Houndoom from him. But I'm going to lead off with the Ariados. He leads off Skarmory. We're just going to get us some entry hazards here. He could use Defog with Skarmory, but if he doesn't, then my entry hazards are up to stay. And my entry hazards hurt him a lot more than his hurt me. He also doesn't have a poison type, so Toxic Spikes are going to wear down his team a lot. Toxic Spikes are up. Sticky Web now goes up. I could save Ariados for later because I know another Jolpek is coming, because that's why wouldn't it? So we're going to go out into my defensive Arcanine named Regal. This is a rebreed of the one that I used back in 4th gen actually. I used the same Arcanine to breed this new one. That was kind of cool to do. And after the Intimidate, Jolpek doesn't really do any noticeable damage. So I was quite pleased by that. Regal's a little bit weird. He has kind of a mix set. I figured he'd switch into Houndoom because that's his fire resist, quote unquote. Kingdra would be better, but if it's physical, he might get burned. And so I didn't want to go for the fire type move. Wild Charge still hits Skarmory. And if you win into Houndoom, then I could just finish it off with an extreme speed after the Wild Charge. I do get a crit on the Wild Charge, which unfortunately means a ton of recoil. I don't think that it mattered though, just because I could have gone for extreme speed afterwards. Now that he knows that I have Wild Charge, I don't want to stay in here. I know I can't one-hit KO Donphan with anything that I have, but I knew that it was also fairly likely that he would set up Stealth Rocks. So I just stayed in and went for Morning Sun, which proves to be a huge mistake because this is actually a choice banded Donphan. That sucks because my Arcanine had fantastic coverage against this team. But now that I know he's banded, that means we can play accordingly, and that also means he can't really rely on Earthquake because I have 2 things that avoid Earthquake between my new Mantine that I bred just for this battle and my Gligar that I've had for a little while as well, I think since X and Y came out. He does go into Kingdra to quad resist any water move that I want to go for. but I was just fishing for, if it went into Kingdra and it had a Lumberry, I wanted to have the chance of the burn. If Kingdra is a special variant, Mantine basically walls it. If Kingdra is a physical variant and it goes for Dragon Dance, then we're in for some trouble because it can go for Waterfall against Gligar. It looks like he's a special variant. Critical hit Draco Meteors are going to come my way, but Mantine can take those hits and go for rest. Plus I'm whittling him down with Poison and Ice Beams. He's not going to be able to use too many of those hits. I get another critical hit here on an Ice Beam, but it's not going to end up mattering when you see how little this critical hit Draco Meteor does in Mantine. Oh wait, it almost wipes it out. So yeah, that crit didn't matter because he would have had one more turn of offensive pressure to give me. But I think the Poison is going to finish him off right here, actually, if I'm recalling correctly. So the Poison takes Kingdra down. No, he barely lives? Wow, so Kingdra barely lives. I'm going to go for a rest on this turn just because I know that Kingdra's going to die at the end of the turn to Poison anyway. So I might as well try to go for some annoying Sleep Top shenanigans and get some hits off on someone else. For those of you who don't know, Focus Energy combined with the Scope Lens and Sniper for Kingdra gives Kingdra a guaranteed critical hit ratio with its, not Sniper, excuse me, yeah, it gives him a guaranteed critical hit ratio with its moves. So in conjunction with Draco Meteor, it allows you to bypass the special attack drops. Critical hits ignore special attack drops or defensive boost, so that's a pretty popular set on Kingdra. As he goes into Jump Bluff, I needed to see what he was going to do. I was afraid to switch out because of Sleep Powder, possibly. He is not slowed down by my Sticky Web, so I'm going to bring in Primeape here to bluff the Choice Scarf. I was not Choice Scarfed at the time. And I was just like, hey, look at me, I'm Choice Scarf. And he did switch out here, so I'm just going to go straight for U-turn because I wanted to force him out. That Jump Bluff is going to be the bane of my existence later on in this battle because I haven't really battled anything quite like it before. Now Skarmory is in and I don't have my Arcanine. This sucks. We're going to go on into Ursaring here. I admit that I greatly underestimated Skarmory's defensive capabilities. I thought a Facade would do a lot more damage than it does, and now I'm taking Burn, Rocky Helmet, and of course he's going to go for Drill Peck as well. And after the spikes on the switch in, I'm well below a third of my health basically. So we're going to go for Crunch here, hoping that it does a little bit more damage, but it does about the same amount of damage. So, which you got to figure since Facade is resisted, even though the attack is double because of the burn. Crunch is only 10 base power more than Facade, and it's not doubled. So it's basically going to pan out to be about the same amount of damage. And of course, Crunch has that nice defensive chance of dropping that opponent's defense. Here, I was hoping that Close Combat will be enough to finish off Skarmory, but it's not, and Skarmory lives on a sliver, and Primeape's just sitting in here, and he uses Drill Peck against a -1 Primeape. Not good. So Skarmory gets to KO 2 of my Pokemon, which I was just like, really? I was not expecting this. That's the perk of running Drill Peck Skarmory over Brave Bird. But since he is at such low HP, I can just bring in Ariados and go for Shadow Sneak. Thank goodness, because that was getting out of hand. Skarmory was racking up way too many kills. The bad thing is that I don't really have anything left to hit him with besides my Gligar, which while it is an Eviolite Gligar, it has a decent attack investment. When Gligar was first introduced in 2nd generation, it didn't have the evolution for Gliscor for 2 more entire generations, so it was introduced with a decent attack stat. Here I'm just going to go for Sucker Punch because I did need some prior damage to take out Ninetales with an Earthquake. Another popular Gligar set back in 2nd gen was just running Curse on it, because every Pokemon and their mothers all received Curse basically. Not literally, but a lot of Pokemon got Cursed. So Curse Gligar was also pretty popular. I did want to just kind of go for Earthquake to see what he was going to do, but Knockoff was a really nice option too in case he decided to switch. I did just go for Earthquake because it was my stronger option of the two. Earthquake was a little bit risky because he could have just gone into Jump Bluff. Here, I was really worried about Ice Shard, but since he didn't go for Ice Shard and he's banded, this is great. But he knocks off my Eviolite, so that's not great. Now I can't take those hits, but since I put up Toxic Spikes earlier on, That's going to allow me to be able to finish off the Donphan by the end of this turn, which is really, really, really important if I want to win. I get another critical hit. That's 3. Count them 3. Against the Donphan. I don't think that one mattered. He would have gotten off a little bit more damage if he had gone for a knockoff, if he had that, or maybe a rock type move. But this is a more defensive Gligar, so I don't think it would have mattered too much. After seeing Leech Seed from Jumpluff, I'm figuring that this is a sub Leech Seed Jumpluff, which would be really annoying, especially under the sun. Fortunately, the sun's going to go away. I can't really do the damage that I need to do to him with my knockoff attack. So I'm going to Toxic him here, hoping that I can catch him before he substitutes. And he does not substitute, so that's great. Because seeing the damage from Seed Spawn, since he has Seed Bomb, did I just say Seed Spawn? That would be such a cool move. Seeing the damage from Seed Bomb, I know I can stall him out because I have Roost. It would be a lot easier to stall him out if I had my Evioli, if I wasn't knocked off. But you have to play the hand you're dealt. So we're just going to keep on going for Roost as he gets whittled down by Toxic. Then he brings back in Ninetales, which unfortunately Ninetales is Choice Scarf. I have to be at a certain level of HP if I want to live Ninetales Flamethrower. Ninetales basically has pretty underwhelming attack unless it's in the sun. But this is a pretty bulky Gligar at the same time. So we're just going to keep on going for Roost. And eventually we're going to go for some knockoffs here. I was really worried that he would switch in Ninetales as I went for Roost. Because I basically can't threaten him too much until the Toxic starts to do more damage than his Leech Seed recovery is netting him. So he's finally going to withdraw Jumpluff here as the Toxic damage finally starts to outstrip the Leech Seed recovery. He goes into Ninetales, and I was very close to clicking Earthquake there. Of course, the Sticky Web is what it will allow me to outspeed Ninetales. But I just went for knockoff here. And that worked out pretty well. I really should have just gone for Earthquake because I did predict the switch, but I didn't believe. I wanted to make sure I could do some damage to Jumpluff if he stayed in. That's why I went for knockoff there instead of Risk. But if I had just believed in the me that believes in me, I don't know how that works exactly, then it would have worked out. I went for knockoff again, trying to predict Jumpluff coming in, which was a fool's errand. A complete fool's errand. I definitely thought he was going to go back into Jumpluff to try to stall out my PP and such. But he just stays and goes for Hidden Power Ice. That was a fun battle. Not only do I definitely don't get to use Aridos and Mantine in the same team very often, but how often do you get to just use all Pokemon found in the original Gold version? In the comments, let me know if you guys chose Gold or Silver version way back in 2000 when they were released, and why you chose the one you chose. I know for me, I chose Gold version back then because number one, Ho-Oh looks suspiciously like the Pokemon that Ash had seen flying through the sky early on in episode 2 of the anime. I believe it was episode 2. Also, I didn't, just comparing Ho-Oh to Lugia, Ho-Oh for some reason to me looked like it might be stronger. I don't know where I got that logic from when I was younger. But that's just what I went with in my brain. My little brother actually wanted Silver version anyway, so it worked out. It's not the same as with Red version where I literally just randomly picked a version. If Venusaur had been on the cover and we had Green version in the States, I would have definitely picked Venusaur. But between Charizard and Blastoise, I didn't think either of them really looked amazing back then. Then I saw Venusaur and I was like, why doesn't he get his own cover? But that's why I chose Gold version. Share with me your thoughts why you chose Gold or Silver, or Crystal if you waited until Crystal. I'd be interested for that too. And I will talk to you guys in the next generation battle. Let me know what you think of this format. I think it's a lot of fun. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.